Elon Musk's push for transparency tainted by a top lawyer inside Twitter. The billionaire firing the company's legal counsel, James Baker, for going behind his back and secretly vetting the Twitter files before their release. This intervention slowed the process of getting the information out to the public. The New York Post calls it an inside job, and if you thought Jim Baker was a familiar name, well, he used to work for the FBI as general counsel under James Comey and was a central figure to the Russia investigation. Baker also played a hand in censoring the Hunter Biden laptop story. As the world turns, of course, Republicans are calling on top Twitter executives to testify, and Jim Jordan thinks that what happened helped President Biden to get elected.
Big tech, big government, big media, all colluding to keep valuable information from we the people. And of course, John, we know the consequences of all this are that Joe Biden became president, and we have 41-year high inflation, a border that's no longer a border, rampant crime, and all the other problems we see with this administration, not least of which is the FBI has been weaponized against we the people and is no longer treating Americans equally under the law.
And the White House still staying tight-lipped about the revelations.
Did anyone from the Biden team communicate to Twitter that this material was from this reporting stemmed from hacked materials?
I can't speak to decisions made by the campaign from here. That is not. It is a political campaign. But what I can say more broadly is, of course, it's up to these companies to make their own decision about the content on their platforms and to ensure content follows their own standards and policies.
I was a little surprised, Jesse, to find out that James Baker actually still worked for Twitter, given that Elon Musk cleaned a lot of the house before he even got started.
Yeah, you don't like to clean house with the lawyers first because they know a lot. But he stuck his neck out there, and then he got exited. I love that term. He got exited. He's a fixer. He doesn't have legal chops. He was a bagman for Crooked at the FBI. Then he went to the other side to run interference for the Biden campaign at Twitter. And you don't have to be a good lawyer to succeed in this country. You just have to be able to do political favors for people. That's how you ascend now. You do political favors as a lawyer. And lawyers are destroying this country. Everywhere you look, Baker signs off on this stupid warrant on the Trump campaign. Who is his deputy? Kleinfeld fabricated the documents to get the lawyer. Avenatti.
They're lawyers because they're doing legal business. Why don't you talk about other areas?
They're doing political business. They're not doing legal business. Another one, Avenatti. Remember him?
He's a
great guy. Also, who was it? Mark Elias. He loosened all of the election laws that allowed for all of these paper to blast out there.
Watch your hand.
You watch your hand, Geraldo. Sussman. Again, Adam Schiff. Everywhere you turn, the country's trying to move, and there's a stupid Democrat lawyer cutting your knees out from under you.
Hunter's a lawyer.
There you go.
Yeah.
I guarantee you Satan went to law school. Also, that's why you can't get anything done in this country. Anytime you try to build something, frivolous lawsuit. They're actually suing TGI Fridays because there's cheddar in the mozzarella sticks. That's why everybody hates these people. I have a proposal. How about all the lawyers in America take a vacation next year?
Okay.
1 year, all the lawyers stop their practice. I guarantee you this country would be like paradise. But if you ever notice something, who makes money in conflict? 3 industries: arms dealers, the media, and lawyers. They're cleaning up because they bill by the hour. You bill, and we all pay because the more conflict there is, the more money you shell out. And all our lawyers lose. Our lawyers get their homes raided, their offices raided, their iPhones seized.
Oh, my God.
Constantly, you're on the back end of it.
What did you put in your water today?
Not enough, Geraldo. I swear to God. And I think the Biden family's being blackmailed by the FBI because when the FBI teams up with the lawyers, hell on earth.
Can I bring it back to earth?
That was the best Jesse Waters impersonation I've ever heard by you, Jesse.
I've had it.
Aside from first we killed the lawyers, the thing that bothers me, Jim Jordan, what he said, that's what bothers me about this whole Twitter story. The implication is that because Twitter didn't go all out to back the New York Post, therefore the election was somehow flawed. Therefore, the election was flawed. So President Trump is justified in saying that the election was, not legitimate, We can take whatever means necessary, suspend the Constitution. It is absolutely absurd to think that because one media outlet, Twitter, didn't back the New York Post, therefore the election is flawed. I mean, it's an assumption built on an assumption built on an assumption.
Everybody followed them,
And
though.
Facebook and everybody did, and they stopped conversations. Nobody's
But do you
saying that
believe
one
that
thing.
it imperiled the
I don't
election?
know. I don't know if it imperiled the election because I'm not a statistician.
There
and
was
I
one
don't have
survey
the-
that said that.
Yeah, that 10% of it would have changed the election. There's no question. There are studies out there. Here's the bottom line. Forget about all this garbage with lawyers, okay? You know, if there weren't any lawyers, first of all, every criminal that's in jail would be out of jail right now. I don't think that would make you very happy. And chances are, if there weren't any lawyers, and if you got hurt and you were fighting your neighbor, you wouldn't be able to sue your neighbor, all that stuff. You wouldn't be able to
That
close.
wouldn't be a frivolous lawsuit.
You wouldn't be.
That would be a righteous
trashed all
lawsuit.
lawyers. Look, I want to talk about this. This guy, James Baker, is as deep state as you can get. He was involved in the Russia collusion delusion. Okay, he's involved in Twitter. You know why they found out about him? Because Miranda Devine, to her credit, said, where are the emails that show that the FBI was communicating with Twitter? But for Miranda Devine, and good for you, Miranda, they would not have found the emails where this guy, James Baker, is a professional at making sure that the government influences politics and influences policy in the United States. And it amazes me that someone who is a lawyer is so antithetical. Everything he thinks is opposite the First Amendment and free speech. I'm talking about James Baker, the lawyer for the FBI, the lawyer at Twitter. I mean, who thinks in those terms?
To me, he was just trying to cover his ass, it seems to me.
He wasn't covering his
That's why
ass.
he wasn't releasing
He only
the
had,
tweets.
you know, oh, really? There's a justification?
I'm not saying it's the right thing to do.
I
I'm
don't
saying
care
that
what
that's
his
what he was
reason
doing.
was. The guy's a crook. He should have been prosecuted for the Russian delusion. And I
should have been
agree with
fired, which he was.
Jesse. He was fired.
Right.
And you know what? He should have been prosecuted.
You finished?
I'm finishing.
Okay. Let's turn it over to you.
Well, okay, so I will go and talk briefly about the media, and because I enjoy watching on Twitter how the reporters going after the reporters for reporting the news, as if this isn't news. And so what they're doing is they're acting like the media is on strike. And when you do this story, you're a scab. So Matt Taibbi is a scab. And I was thinking, like, that's actually true for a lot of things. Like, I was thinking about this, like, the media goes on strike regarding specific stories that we cover, the stories that they don't like. The laptop story, if you look at the border, if you look at crime, if you do those stories, if you follow up on, like, I don't know, gender affirmation surgeries, if you do that, the media is gonna go after you and basically treat you like a scab. I mean, when you do these correspondence dinners, you get that vibe, even though we crush them in the ratings. Everybody there thinks that you've, like, crossed the picket line because you're doing stories that make the mainstream media uncomfortable.
Right.
So if that's a scab, then pick us.
Yeah.
yeah, right.